Hi everyone, I'm Kat and welcome to my channel, Naturally Beautiful Girl. So today I'm going to be bringing you a video that's a little bit of a long time coming, and this is my Well People brand overview video. And I've been doing these for a number of different brands where I talk about a lot of products from one brand all in one video, and I demo me applying as many of the products as I can and just give you my thoughts. It always takes me a long time to do these videos, so I really hope you guys appreciate them. They're just a lot of work. They're a lot of work to film, they're a lot of work to edit. There's a lot of products I have to compile all my thoughts on, but I do think they're helpful and hopefully it will be a really helpful resource for you. I have a number of these videos on my channel already. I've done brands like Ilia, I've done Herrera Perez, I recently did Au Naturel. If you're interested in this type of video, there are a lot of other brands I've done this type of video on. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. Well People is one of the first brands I learned about in non-toxic beauty. It's available places like Whole Foods. It's also available at Target, sometimes physically in stores, but always online. It's also available at retailers like Credo Beauty as well. So it's a pretty accessible brand, and I definitely think it's one that most people in the clean beauty space have some familiarity with. And I've been kind of thinking about doing a brand overview on Well People for a while, especially because it is more accessible and is at Targets and Whole Foods. But what really inspired me to go ahead and do this is there was a detox box a few months ago. It may have been the April or March detox box that featured a whole bunch of products from Well People. I went ahead and picked up that box, which really helped to kind of boost my Well People product collection, and that way I'd be able to film this video for you guys. So I'm just going to go ahead and talk about the products that I have in the order that I applied them. So I'm first going to start off with their stick foundation, and this is the Well People Narcissist Foundation, and I have the lightest shade, which is Pale Ivory. I should say I have oily, acne-prone skin, and I have a very porcelain skin tone. I went with this foundation stick over their, I believe it's their BioCorrect like CC cream, BB cream, whatever that product is, because I have swatched that product in Credo Beauty and it is way too dark for me. The lightest shade just will not work. The lightest shade that says it's fair is not actually fair. And in general, I have that problem with a lot of Well People complexion products. Oftentimes the fair shade is not fair enough. So if you have a fairer skin tone, unless I mention that the product specifically works for me, I would proceed very cautiously with Well People face products because, like I said, most of the things that they label as fair are not fair. This foundation surprisingly does work for me. You'll see that in my demo of me applying it. It is actually a decent shade match for me. So I have some interesting thoughts about this. I had been trying this out for a while and then decided I didn't like it and then went ahead and started using other products again. But when I was filming this video and applying this, I actually figured out that I like this product more than I thought I did. And I think a large part of my change in mindset has been that I have started using foundations with less coverage. I've been using the Juice Beauty Blemish Clearing Serum. I know I keep mentioning this again and again, but it really has helped to clear up my skin and reduce the amount of acne that I have. And so that has made me feel more comfortable wearing lighter coverage foundations. Also, I've started working, not many people wear makeup, or at least they don't wear a lot of makeup, because I'm so new at the job, I'm not entirely confident wearing really full coverage, very glam makeup. So I have been tending towards a little bit more of a lighter coverage. So when I put this on today, I actually really did like it. If you like full coverage foundations, you will not like this foundation stick. If you want a more full coverage foundation stick, check out the Au Naturel stick foundation. I absolutely love that one. The coverage on it is much, much better than this one. But I have to say, I do like how my skin looks. This foundation stick from Well People is definitely a more dewy formula. It's actually wearing pretty well on me. I filmed my demo of me applying these products about 5 hours ago now, and I think my foundation still looks really great. It's holding up well. It's not my favorite just because I do have oily skin. I think if you have more dry skin and are looking for a lighter coverage foundation, this is a good option. But overall, my thoughts on it are that the coverage is pretty light and it is definitely very dewy. And so if you were to be interested in this product, you would have to be okay with those two aspects of this foundation. So I at first really didn't like it. I now have warmed up to it a bit, but it's still just not my favorite foundation. I just think there are better ones on the market, but at least the shade does match me. I don't have a concealer from Well People because the Well People concealer in the shade Fair is orange. It basically, when I try and put it on my skin, it is orange. I have tested out samples of it. I've also swatched it in the store. It is just not the right shade for me, so I didn't have a concealer to talk about. I've heard pretty good things about the Well People concealer, but like I said, if you're fair, it's just not going to work. So we're going to move on to setting powder. I did use my hand Skincare Cosmetics concealer. I love that one, and I went ahead and set it today with the Bio Brightener Invisible Powder. This is their loose setting powder. I realized in the comments from my liquid concealer comparison video, which I will link up above if you want to see my a comparison of a whole bunch of different liquid concealers in Non-Toxic Beauty. But I realized from the comments that, and also from my own personal experience, that it's really important to have a good setting powder. Like, it will really make a difference in how your products wear. And this one is just not that good. Like, I can use this powder with concealers that I know set very well and don't crease, and they will crease on me. Compared to my 14E setting powder, this is not anywhere in that league. It's just not nearly as good. I wore my hand Skincare Cosmetics concealer today, which it does tend to crease on me a bit, but it is creasing so much more than it ever does with my 14E setting powder. If you look really closely, I have really bad creases under my eye right now. And when I apply this powder, I can feel that my concealer still feels tacky. When I put a powder that actually sets my concealer down, when I run my hand along that area, it feels velvety. It doesn't feel at all sticky or tacky, but this I can keep piling on the powder, but it still just doesn't set. So it really is just not a good setting powder. I would not recommend it. I would definitely check out the 14E setting powder. That is just so much better than this one. Now we're going to move along to the Altruist foundation powder, and this is their loose powder foundation. They have a pressed powder foundation. I have not tried that one out. I've only tried out the loose powder, mainly because this powder foundation does have SPF 15. You need to use sun protection all year round, but in the summer and then the spring, I'm just outside more, and so I just need more sun protection. Also, I now walk to work. I was driving to graduate school, and now I walk, so I just spend a lot more time outside. So I'm very conscious of having good sun protection in my products, so that's why I picked this up. I have the shade Fair Pink. It seemed to be the lightest shade of the foundation. It is a smidge dark on me. Like, you can see it when I'm laying it down, and that's the tricky thing with this, is you can see where I put it and where I don't, because it is a smidge dark for me. I can make it work, but I just have to be really careful to make sure I get every spot covered and everything really blended. Similarly to the Well People setting powder, this just doesn't set well. I am finding that I'm just not super impressed by Well People powders in terms of their setting ability. I've tried this Altruist foundation on top of so many different foundations, not just the Well People stick foundation. I've tried it on top of my Ilia True Skin Serum foundation, the Crop Natural foundation, the Pacifica Light foundation. Like, I've tried it so many different ways, and in general, it just doesn't set nearly as well as my Lima Pure Satin Matte foundation, the Au Naturel powder foundation. Those just set so much better. I do like the sun protection of this, and so that is important to me, but I'm wearing a powder foundation for it to set my foundation, and it just doesn't do a good job with that. Like I said, you can still, if I touch my face after I put that powder foundation down, it feels tacky. I have to put a lot of powder on to get things kind of set, and then you run the risk of things looking cakey. So once again, just not my favorite product. I think there are much better powder foundations on the market. So we're now going to move along to this palette, and this is the High Vibration Trio, and it comes with a bronzer, a blush, and a highlighter. I didn't use this bronzer today because I have another bronzer that I used, but I have tried it out. I did use this blush, which is kind of a shimmer. It has a bit of shimmer to it. It's like a peachy blush. And then I did use this highlight. I picked this up actually at Target. So the Target does carry this palette. Like I physically went to a Target store and bought it. My thoughts on this palette are that it's not that great. It's pretty expensive. I believe it was around like $20 to $25 and it's just not that good. The highlight does look pretty. You can definitely see it glowing. Is it my favorite highlight I've ever used? No. I think that there are better highlights in Non-Toxic Beauty. My real issue actually is with the blush. So I am able to get color onto my cheeks. You will see that in the demo, but I am working at it. What you don't see is me actually taking my brush and like digging it into the blush to get blush to come off onto my brush. It's really hard to actually get pigment to show up on you. You really have to get a lot of product. And then once you do that, I find that it's not easy to blend. It's just not a good blush. There are just better blushes. And I think the thing that adds insult to injury to me about this whole palette is it's just expensive. If it were this quality and a little bit more affordable, I would be more okay with it, but because it's so expensive, I'm not. There's the Pacifica palette that has a bronzer, a blush, and 2 highlights in it, and that one is just so much better in terms of quality. Like the pigmentation is just better, it's easier to work with, easier to blend, and you can get that one at Target too. So I don't recommend this. It's just not that good. And the bronzer in here is not great either. And actually I used today, instead of the bronzer in this palette, I used this bronzer, which is the Bio-Based Baked Bronzer. And this one is so much more pigmented. So if you're really interested in getting a Well People bronzer, this one is just so much better than this one in the palette. I know they look kind of similar. I guess this one's a little bit more red. The one thing about this one in the palette is it's a little bit more cool toned, which works better on me. This one does pull a little red, as you'll see, but at least there's pigment there. Like at least we're getting pigment off onto the face, and then it is blendable as well, so I can get it blended out pretty easily. The one thing I would say is I have the shade Natural Tan. I don't know if it comes in other shades, but I have Natural Tan, and it's a bit red on me. It's hard when you're really fair to get bronzers that work well on you. There are only a handful of bronzers that I think kind of look good on me. And to be honest, you rarely on my channel see me wearing bronzer because I just think most of the time I look better without it. And I know Reagan also feels the same way. She shares my struggle as well. Being fair and trying to find a bronzer is nearly mission impossible. And so most of the time, both of us just go without it. And this one, I am more inclined to not wear bronzer than wear it just because the shade is not great, but the formula is good. So if this looks like a shade that you would be into and would work on your skin tone, then the formula is worth it. Like I said, this is just so much better than this palette. The next product I am going to be talking about is their Expressionist Brow Gel, and I have the shade Brown. So this is a pretty new product. It released with the eyeshadow palette, I believe, or at least it is recent. And I also was able to physically pick this up at my Target store. I have mixed thoughts about the brow gel. I like it. It's a good brow gel. I much prefer it over the Ilia brow gel, but I'm not sure that I like it more than the Juice Beauty brow gel. But it's very different from the Juice Beauty brow gel, and I think whether you like this brow gel or not will really depend on what you're looking for in a brow gel. This Well People brow gel is much more pigmented and much thicker in consistency than the Juice Beauty brow gel. The Juice Beauty brow gel I would describe as like a mascara kind of tint for your brows. You want to use that brow gel either if you want a very natural brow look and really just add a smidge of color and kind of tame your brows, or use it in conjunction with a brow pencil if you want to fill in your brows more. This brow gel from Well People, you do not need a brow pencil to accompany it. It has got so much pigment. It is like a pomade that turned into a brow gel. But because of that, it can be a little bit difficult to work with. And I actually struggled with that today. I always try and wipe the wand off on the sides of the jar. And like, I think you can see here that there's just like a lot of kind of gloopy product on there. Like, it's just a thick product and it really sticks to the wand, and when you pull the wand out, you're pulling out a lot of product. So I always try and wipe it off on the edge of the packaging, which I didn't do that enough today, and I ended up with a big gloop on one of my eyebrows that I then had to try and blend out. So it's really good at adding a lot of pigment. So if you're looking for that, it is great. The hold is pretty good as well, but it doesn't give you the most natural brows because it is depositing so much product. If you really want that, like I didn't fill in my brows look, the Juice Beauty Brow Gel gives you that look much more. This one is definitely, if you want to lay down a lot of pigment, basically be using a pomade, but applying it as a brow gel. So I do like it. It can be a little bit difficult to work with. And so for that reason, I'm not 100% giving it my stamp of approval, but it is definitely up there in my favorite brow gels. Like, it definitely is a good one. I like how it wears. It doesn't flake on me. It doesn't smudge. Like I said, it holds my brows in place. When I use this product, I just have to know that I'm going to end up with rather intense looking brows. Moving along to the eyeshadow palette, I'm sure you guys have many questions about this. This is the Nudist One eyeshadow palette. This is the brown toned eyeshadow palette, and there is a purple toned one. I went with this one because these are definitely the colors that I prefer wearing. And I've been using this for quite a while, and I do really like it. The packaging is quite nice. It comes with a mirror. It's not a big mirror, but it is a mirror. This palette would be very good for traveling. It's super lightweight. The packaging seems sturdy, and it does have a mirror. So I did do an eyeshadow look using this palette. I also used this palette when I did a full face of non-toxic makeup from Target, so I will link that video up above so you can check that out. My thoughts on this palette are that I tend to end up with very similar looks. They tend to be very neutral, which is what I've got going on today, and you can spice things up with these two shades over here, which are a bit more warm toned. So you can create a more warm toned leaning palette. I typically stay with these three shades over here just because of my preferences. I am surprised by the quality of these shadows. They work really well. They are not the most pigmented eyeshadows I've encountered, but they do pack a punch and they do blend out very easily. They are a little bit dusty, I will say that, so when you dip your brush into them, you will be getting some kickback, but it's nothing that's unmanageable. I actually really like this. So I think if you are interested in these shades, this is a good palette to go for. Like I said, it's not the most amazing eyeshadow palette I've ever used. It's not the Aether Beauty palettes. It's not a Prisma palette eyeshadow, but the quality is there. They're easy to work with and the looks are great. The eyeshadows wear very well on me throughout the day. They don't crease or fade too quickly. I am going to be doing a lot of traveling for work. I haven't yet, but because I'm still kind of getting trained and acclimated to my job. But once I am kind of more settled, I will be doing a lot of traveling. I definitely can see myself traveling with this palette. If you like more neutral eyeshadow looks, like I said, this is a great palette to check out. Moving along to eyeliner. So this actually is the same packaging as the brow gel, which actually gets me mixed up all the time. The brow gel has brown on the top here and the eyeliner has black. But I think if you get the darkest shade of the brow gel, which is not the one that I have, I think it's kind of black at the top. I end up reading on the bottom all the time to distinguish the two. I wish the packaging was just a little bit different to make, you know, my life easier, but that's a small complaint. So this is actually the second of these eyeliners that I had. I initially bought it when it first came out to test it out and I had a review on it. My review was very positive. I really liked it and I still really like it. The reason you don't see me wearing eyeliner all the time is I just don't like how it looks on me. And I did try to film me applying the eyeliner today. I am wearing it. I don't have a wing on. You need a certain patience to do a wing, at least with me and my hooded eyes. It's always a challenge to do a wing. So I just didn't have that patience today. This eyeliner though does wear very well and it is easy to apply. It's just my own skill that makes me not great at applying eyeliner that makes me struggle with this. So I'm not going to show you a clip of me applying this because it would be a 10-minute long clip of me sadly trying to put eyeliner on because I'm just really bad at that. But if you are looking for a very black, very pigmented eyeliner that stays in place, This one I definitely recommend. I've had issues in the past with other eyeliners running on me, fading, flaking, all of that, and I can attest that this one, once you put it on, it's gonna stay in place till you take it off at the end of the day. So it is a really great option. The tip of this is quite fine, as you can see. I don't know enough about eyeliner to know what type of tip it is, but there's like a pot and then you dip it in and then you paint the eyeliner on. So I do like it. I also really like the new Pacifica eyeliner pen. I can't think of what it's called, but you probably know what I mean. It's like a pen. They both wear really well on me. The Pacifica one is about half the price of the Well People ones, so there's that. I did a side-by-side test of them a few days ago before making this video. When I tested that, I had an easier time applying the Well People than the Pacifica, but then today I struggled applying the Well People. So it may just be a matter of luck, but they both wore extremely well. They're both very black. They didn't fade on me. They didn't flake. If you want a little bit cleaner of ingredients, go with the Well People, but if you want a more affordable option, I would recommend the Pacifica. So next up, I have the Well People Expressionist Mascara. This was one of the first Well People products I ever tried, and for ages it was my favorite mascara. Like, it was this one and the Root 100% Lash Mascara. These were the two I was constantly recommending to everyone. I hadn't used it in a while. I got onto a train using the Honest Beauty mascara. I also have fallen in love with the Au Naturel mascara. So I hadn't used this one in a while. So I got this one in the detox box and I popped it open and I started using it. I at first was like, this just isn't that great. And I thought, okay, maybe because it's a new tube, it needs to set, it needs to dry a little bit. I've been using it for a few weeks and I still just don't love it as much. It's one of those products I've changed my mind about. There's a couple thoughts I have about this. I don't know if they changed the formula. I know Well People redid the formula of a lot of their products. I have a thought about whether or not they redid the formula of this. Let me know in the comment section down below if you think they did. Also, I've just found really, really good mascara. Like, the Honest Beauty is just so good. And the Au Naturel is just so good. They give me so much volume that when I put this on, it doesn't look like that much. And it does, this mascara, I will say, is a lot better than a lot of other mascaras. I've tried the Juice Beauty one. That one was really bad. I tried the New Evolution. That one was also really bad. The old Ilia formula, not the new one, that one was really bad. This one definitely looks a lot better than those three on me, but it doesn't do nearly as much as the Honest Beauty and the Au Naturel mascara. Also, this one has smudged on me some, which I feel like it used to not smudge on me. I remember wearing this in Spain in June when it was hot, and not smudging. And now it smudges on me when I'm just like walking around Boston. I don't know if my thoughts have changed, if the formula changed, but this is just, it's good, but it's just not my favorite anymore. I'm going to move on to lips. And first I'm going to start off with one of their lip glosses. So I have the shade Grapefruit, and I'm going to show you a demo of me applying this. This is a peachy lip gloss, and I've been into lip gloss recently, and I've been trying out a lot of different lip glosses. I'm thinking about doing a video comparing non-toxic lip glosses. Let me know in the comment section down below if you'd like for me to do that. This one is pretty, but out of all the lip gloss formulas I've been trying out, this is just not my favorite formula. The shade here, like I said, it's this really pretty peachy shade, and I really like it. And I think it's fun for summer, but it's just not that long wearing, and the pigmentation is decent, but there are other lip glosses that are more pigmented, and I like pigmented lip glosses because my lips have basically no color to them, so they really need all the help they can get, and this one just doesn't do it for me. It's not as nourishing, it's not as comfortable as other ones, it's a little sticky. It's okay, it's just not my favorite. That's how I honestly feel about a lot of the Well People products. I just feel like there are better things on the market. So I have I have two other lip products from Well People, but they're two of the semi-matte Optimist lipsticks. And the shade I have on right now is the shade Choose Love. I also have Oh Meow, which is like a deeper berry shade. I did a review of these lipsticks when they first came out. Not the biggest fan of the formula, and I'm still not. I think the lighter shade of the lipstick in the shade Choose Love is a little bit better in formula than the deeper berry shade of Oh Yeah. That often happens in lipsticks when you have those really deep shades. Sometimes the formula can be a little bit off compared to the lighter shades, and I think that might be the case with these. But I do really like the shade Choose Love. I have it on my lips right now. It's just this beautiful pink shade, and the packaging of these is beautiful. You push the button on the top and the lipstick ejects out of the bottom. And there you go. So it's really cool packaging, and I have been wearing this lipstick quite a bit because I really like the color of it. It is a fairly matte formula, but it's also not super comfortable. It does eventually get dry on me, and it's not super long wearing. Like if I'm wearing a matte lipstick or a semi-matte lipstick, I want it to stay in place. I want it to stay on my lips, and I feel like this one just doesn't do that great of a job, but I do like the color so much that I keep reaching for it. So I think there are better lipstick formulas, but this one is okay, and I do really like the color. I hope you found this video helpful. My overall thoughts on Well People is a lot of their stuff is, it's okay, it works, but it's not my favorite. I think there are a lot better options out there in non-toxic beauty. There's so many brands now. The non-toxic beauty space is growing and growing and growing, and we have so many options. I'm honestly surprised that when Well People reformulated a lot of their products that they didn't step it up further. That's what I was expecting, and I feel that just didn't happen. Let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think of Well People? Do you like their products? Do you not? If you do like their products, let us know in the comment section down below what some of your favorite products are, or let us know if you like some of these products I didn't like as much, how you get them to work for you, because, you know, I might be using them wrong, or they might work for this purpose or that purpose, or for this skin type or for this skin tone. Let us know all of that in the comment section down below. And once again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!